So we've picked 4 college football games from this upcoming season, and the lines are not out yet. So we're going to make our own, and we're going to kind of debate with each other to see how we feel about, how the teams kind of stack up against each other before Vegas kind of makes their determination. So maybe in the future, when Vegas does release these lines, we can come back to this video and kind of flame each other over our stupid takes. So, as always, joined here by Brandon and Drew. How we doing, boys?
Doing great. Ready for it, man. We talked about this some already.
So
I love the idea.
We spent the weekend kicking around some hypotheticals. It was a lot of fun. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, this first one is rather early, and which is why we're doing this now as opposed to kind of next month, more towards preview season, because the line might come out pretty soon. Texas at Michigan in Week 2, September 7th. So, if I had to guess, it's at Michigan.
These are opening lines, correct?
Opening.
Yes, just an opening line. Yeah,
They're going to get the big house bump.
they
I
are
think
going
it's
to get the
gonna
big
be-
house bump.
Texas is going to be favored, but, we're talking
Texas should
mid
be
to low
favored.
single digits, I
We
think.
can all agree on that, right? Texas should be
Yeah.
favored.
Looking
I
at what
would
Michigan
agree.
lost, definitely, it would be wise to favor Texas, or they would do knowing Vegas, like a Michigan. I don't know, the big house bump to kind of steal people's money.
This also plays a factor. That's why I'm asking. Will this be on Fox? Do you think?
Ooh,
Like, is this
Let
a big
me-
new? Is this a big new kickoff?
let me see. I
Kind of.
believe it might be.
Because if it's the big house at noon, I think the big house bump
Yeah.
is. They already
Big
claimed
noon
it.
Saturday.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Texas minus 12.5.
12 and brother.
Wow.
12 and a half.
No, that's what I think it should be. But for Vegas purposes, it's probably going to be 5.5, 6.5,
That's-
somewhere.
I was
in
thinking
there.
5.5.
I was thinking 5.5 as well.
Yeah.
Because
I would take Texas to cover in a heartbeat. By the way,
you got Ewers, so they're gonna be able to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And then Donovan Edwards on the other side. The spread's gonna be within a touchdown. But I respect that you think Texas is gonna cover that spread.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. 12 and a half, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Clip it.
let's come back to this. When Texas wins by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They called me a madman. That's what he's gonna say.
That's right.
That's insane.
But no, it'll probably be in the 5.5 to 6.5 ballpark if I had to guess.
Yeah.
but I would think-
If we were in DKR, we're talking double digits, I think.
Yeah, if that's in Texas, you're right. Definitely a lot larger of a spread. So, wow. Any reason why you think that? What's going through your head when you think that 12 and a half? It's just a pretty number.
Yeah, it's a pretty number. I like it. It's a touchdown and 2 field goals. Gets you to cover, which I think that Texas offense definitely has in the tank. I don't think that Michigan saw, off the top of my head, I don't think Michigan saw an offense like Texas until period.
Until they played Washington and shut them down.
Yeah, that's valid. But I think Quinn Ewers and Michael Penix were neck and neck as far as abilities go, and Quinn Ewers is much younger and has had a whole other offseason to develop.
That's fair.
Get comfortable with the offense. And I think Texas is also going to be on the warpath because they know if they do drop a game in this new SEC schedule, they have got to put up eyeball numbers. So that was my thought process. And Michigan has just lost a lot, including a head coach. And just the way that Michigan plays football, I don't know if they can keep up with Texas's offense.
Yeah, that's wild though. The noon game on the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
if it was a night game, I definitely would have never said that. But
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Well, I mean, it's respectable. All right. Next, this game. We'll be watching this one very closely. It is the Georgia Bulldogs on the road at the Alabama Crimson Tide, September 28th, 7:30 p.m. ESPN.
I'm sorry, what was that day?
September 28th. I believe both teams will be coming off byes, if I'm not mistaken. I might not know ball, but that's what I've been led to believe, so I'm going to run with it.
This is a big one.
I hate it.
Huge for Georgia.
I hate it.
They're going to... Okay, I guess I can go first.
Thank you.
Do it.
On the road, it's going to be Georgia minus 1.5.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better because I was legitimately going to say like -1 or -2.
Yeah, and it's the only reason is it's Kalen DeBoer's first SEC game. 2 weeks before, he will be in Madison, Wisconsin to play the Badgers, and that'll be a good road test, so we'll see what they're really made of there. I'm sure that line will shift, but I think, Kirby Smart's going to have those boys hungry.
I think if it was any other, like if you take that exact same team, that exact same coach, put them in a different colored uniform and put them in a different stadium, I think it's Georgia minus 6.5. But because it is Alabama, even though Nick Saban's not there, it's still Alabama. DeBoer is a good head coach. He's not Nick Saban, but he's good. He has a proven track record wherever he's gone. I could see it maybe creeping up to like 3.5, 4.5, but I like 2.5.
Yeah. Especially if we're talking opening
Yeah,
lines.
opening lines for sure.
I would agree. I mean, my first thought was if we were, and if this was in Sanford or wasn't a night game or any other circumstance, I would like it to be, in my mind, it would have been closer to the last line at like 5.5. But
Yeah.
Close to like a touchdown.
it's
to get
gonna
the job
be close because I mean DeBoer, like you said, he's coming off of a national championship appearance.
Yep.
He's not a bad head coach at all. He's got big shoes to fill, but he's going to come out swinging.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I'm just saying. Texas went into Bryant-Denny last year and won by 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's a real possibility Georgia wins by double digits in that state.
What was the spread on that game, that Texas game?
I'm sure it wasn't very much.
Let's see.
This is bad YouTube. Oh,
The
well.
spread.
We're unprepared.
Alabama was the favorite.
Okay, Bama was favored.
Yep. -7.
I could see that in the early going.
Minus what?
-7.
They were 7-point favorites, dude. That's wild.
You think there's a world where
Dog, this was September 9th. This was week 2.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. That's a good point. Good point. Interesting. But, yeah, I think we're all kind of in the same boat here. We obviously, pay attention to Georgia a little bit more closely than others. So I think we know ball on this one. So
I would not be surprised if it was 6.5, by the way. I just want to put that out there. But we can continue on to the next team because the more I talk about it, the more anxious about it I'm going to get.
yeah,
And,
riling yourself up.
my heart rate's picking up.
Yeah.
My Apple Watch just asked me if I wanted to start a workout. All right, moving on. We are keeping with Alabama in the same stadium. Just about a month later, we have the Missouri Tigers coming to town on October 26th.
In the hypothetical world, Georgia wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting with DeBoer as the head coach because a one-loss Nick Saban team is one of the most terrifying things in the world. I would argue a one-loss Nick Saban team is much scarier than a undefeated Nick Saban team because their backs against the wall. But with DeBoer, but with DeBoer, it'll be interesting. If they lose to Georgia, if he can get the ship turned around and keep that we've got to win mentality, that could, Bama should probably be favored by close to a touchdown at home, at least.
Thinking 6.5.
Yeah. So I could see 8.5. Just try to hook people. See if
Yeah.
Bama can win by 10 at home.
For me, it's all about the secondary for Alabama. I'm going to be watching that very closely
For sure.
in the early going of the season because, Georgia, I should have said this when we were talking about Georgia, but whatever. Georgia's got Carson Beck and a stable of wide receivers, probably our deepest wide receiver core we've ever had. And then you got, it's Brady Cook, yeah. Brady Cook.
Yes.
Brady Cook.
He's been haunting me ever since I got that edit wrong, dude.
Connor Cook, baby.
Connor Cook. Yeah. Brady Cook. And then you got Luther Burden, Theo Wees. They have a very good receiving core, too.
Do they still have a strong front seven up at Mizzou?
I would believe so.
Yeah.
Eli had them playing a physical brand of ball last year. They looked good. But I'm watching that secondary. If there's some questions, if they get burned by Georgia, a couple other teams,
Yeah.
I'm maybe thinking like Bama minus 3.5, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But if they lose by a field goal to Georgia, and then secondary looks pretty solid. Otherwise, I'm leaning like Bama closer to a touchdown, maybe a little more.
Yeah. Because, depending on how the seasons go and how Brady Cook comes out firing and just a lot of other factors, there's a real possibility Missouri could win this game, hypothetically, which would be great for their program. But I think Alabama should definitely be favored by close-ish to a touchdown. So I like the 5.5, 6.5, potentially up to 8.5 mark in there.
Yeah, that feels right. I like it.
All right. Anything else on that one, or are we good to move on to our final matchup?
Let's hear the final one.
Yeah,
All right.
Who's next?
So to wrap it up, on November 9th, we are headed to South Bend, Indiana, to watch the Florida State Seminoles take on the Fighting Irish. Two
That's
teams
so
breaking
fun.
in some new quarterbacks, man. This is going to be a fun one.
I gotta look at a little bit of schedule here.
Bro doesn't know ball, man.
I don't know ball.
Yeah.
I'll yap. We'll yap for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
so
I'll yap. Is
obviously,
it-
go ahead.
My first thought is it crazy to think that there's a world where Notre Dame is favored in this game?
That's not ridiculous.
I think they will. Honestly, I do.
Because
Bring in Riley Leonard, dude.
yeah, in South Bend, that's
Yeah.
big. That's
Notre
big.
Dame opens the season with Texas A&M. I just want to point that out.
Damn.
I've
This-
always respected how Notre Dame, even though they're independent, they'll go out and schedule some ball teams. I respect it.
Very true. Very true. I think DJ Uyangalele coming in to face Riley Leonard. Battle of the transfer portal acquisitions here. I think if Riley Leonard can stay healthy, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. What we saw last year at Duke, I don't think, kind of told the whole story. Obviously, he killed a lot of teams with his legs. I think he still has a lot to show with his arm. And I think this game will be one of his many opportunities to do so.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at the schedules, thinking about mojo for the season.
Mojo.
If
The
Florida,
vibes.
Yeah, that's right, the vibes. If Florida State can beat Clemson at home at the beginning of October and beat UNC at home the week before this game, I think they're riding high, and I could definitely see them being favorites. However, go over to the Notre Dame side of things. Like I said, they open with Texas A&M. But other than that, you got Purdue, the Spoilermakers. But yeah, other than that, if they can win their season opener, they should be undefeated going into this game. If both of those instances play out where they're both undefeated and all is equal, I would say you give the nod to the home team. I'd say it'd be like minus 1.5, 2.5. But if Florida State's coming into this game and they lost to Clemson or they lost to UNC or God forbid they lose to both, I can see that line creeping up to closer to a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the conversation here also is DJ cooked. I
don't
think
know,
he's had plenty of chances, man. He's such a weird kind of college football player. It's like he's got all the physical gifts. I mean, he just has not put it all together.
Yeah, I remember playing them in 2021. They were talking about he was the next coming of Deshaun Watson. or Taj
Yeah.
Boyd in Clemson storied quarterback history, and nothing.
I just remember seeing a video of like a Clemson fan saying, "We're gonna curb stomp Georgia, and DJ's gonna win a Heisman." Like,
Yeah,
I saw that, like-
expectations were through the roof for this.
I saw that like last summer. It was
DJ
hilarious.
is kind of like, if I wanted to give him like a coaching comparison, kind of like James Franklin. You know, he's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he can get you over the hump and get you to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, look at last year. I mean, at Oregon State, there was real talks of Oregon State beating Oregon
Yeah.
and playing spoiler with them getting to the Pac-12 championship game. I mean, they were there. They were in the talk.
Yeah.
I just, in a pretty deep Pac-12 conference.
Very true.
So he's not a bad quarterback. I just don't know if he can go out there and win the big game for you.
yeah.
And
Does
he's-
Florida State still have Trey Benson, a running back?
I don't think so. I think he.
They
ended up
lost some guys on that
declaring-
offense.
they
let me
lost a
check.
lot of people.
Keon Coleman, Jordan Travis, obviously.
Yeah, he's with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Trey Benson.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I don't know. Florida State,
Wow.
and we can talk about this more in the previews. They might be set to disappoint a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Might
And
be.
like I saw the odds came out for the ACC, and they're still favored to win the conference. And
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how. Like I was surprised.
I think the DJ acquisition
Yeah, I think that probably
helped a lot.
Like it.
re-up them, but it's yet to be seen what DJ is going to be able to do with that program.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so as far as the line for this one goes, Brandon, did you have one?
I'm with Drew. I mean, splitting hairs, it's tough to call this early. Right now, with how I think it's going to play out, I think Florida State's going to disappoint a little bit. If there's any year for Clemson to take back that throne on the top of the ACC, I think it's this year. I think, as of right now, I'm comfortable saying at that point in time, Notre Dame will be a 1.5-point favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I much like Chris Bowie was last year. I am. I'm feeling the hype for the Fighting Irish. I think Marcus Freeman will be able to field a pretty good defense. Riley Leonard and the fellas will do the rest on offense. I think last year they had a very inexperienced wide receiver core, and I'm excited to see that group kind of grow up to help the team win the big games. Because every time they got into a big game last year, it would crumple. It would not look good.
They
I
lost
think.
Destiny, right?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hold on.
I think he went undrafted. Yeah, he's with the
The
he was born in
Bears.
never mind. The
Is it
Bears?
The Bears? Oh, sorry, Broncos.
Broncos,
New Jersey's
Who's
throwing
that?
me off. New Jersey's.
He knows it. He knows his B's, guys. Gets mixed up every now and then.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I think I'm somewhere in the 3.5 to 4.5 camp myself in favor of Notre Dame. So
Okay. Can we meet in the middle and say 2.5?
I like it. We'll go there.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, take the aggregate.
Hell yeah.
We will rebuild them in the aggregate.
In the aggregate. Yes, sir. All right. Well, those are all the games we had. If you like this segment, want to see more, comment down below some matchups for us to preview and slap a purely hypothetical line on. Again, Vegas will be watching this video and stealing our lines. So
Yep.
just want to thank, Caesars in advance. Send the royalties our way. We got Venmo link down below. Not actually, but
No, we don't.
that'd be nice. Yeah, but I don't know. It's all meaningless, but it's a lot of fun. So if you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next one.